Did you ever walk when your feet were tired? Did you ever walk when the road was gone? Did you ever sing when your heart was aching? Did you ever sing just 'cause there's a song? I will walk and I will sing and I will bring a little courage for the morning, bring a little courage for the day. Did you ever laugh when all hope was lost? Did you ever laugh just to ease the pain? Did you ever weep till the tears were gone? Did you ever weep teardrops like rain? I will laugh and I will weep. I will bring a little courage for the morning, bring a little courage for the day. Did you ever stand when the rest was silent? Did you ever stand a million strong? Did you ever dream in the darkest hour? Did you ever dream right to change the wrong? I will stand and I will dream. I will bring a little courage for the morning, bring a little courage for the day. I will walk and I will sing, I will laugh and I will weep, and I will stand and I will dream, and I will bring a little courage for the morning, bring a little courage for the day.
Good morning. I am Kay Yost, and I am opening our Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Waynesboro online service today. The service today is a lay-led service that was put together by the worship arts team of UUFW. I have been a member of the worship arts team for a few years now. Though we cannot gather together in person, we are able to be together in spirit in this virtual service today. And we welcome any visitors who may have found their way here to be with us this morning. We have chosen Art Amid the Chaos as our theme for today, with part 2 being presented on October 4th. What does art amid the chaos mean? How can art provide a time of solace and calmness during times of upheaval, such as now, when there is a widespread pandemic, societal challenges, and concerns about climate change? As a liberal spiritual organization, we see the immense value in art expression and experiences within and outside of our fellowship. Over the course of these Part 1 and 2 Sundays, you will find visual arts, theater presentations, readings, music, dance, and even a participatory art experience. This is a time to focus on uplifting experiences, that home for expressing deep feelings, both positive and negative, that reside within you when the world around you is in chaos. Come with us into this world of the arts. Perhaps you'll find something that expresses how you're feeling right now. The arts have a way of doing that, of drawing out feelings or ideas that you may not be able to express yourself. Let's discover them together. A visual representation of our spiritual experience as Unitarian Universalists is the lighting of the chalice. This light centers us into a time of spiritual expression and learning. So let us light within our hearts our love for each other and for art amid the chaos as we listen to these words by Molly Brewer. A chalice lighting for when things aren't okay. My beloved people, I cannot pretend, and so I will not tell you that everything is okay right now, that there is no reason to be angry, that you must be optimistic or at peace. I cannot pretend these things, and so I won't tell them to you. But now, as our chalice is lit, all I ask in this moment is that we remember the words of Rebecca Parker. There is a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all. By the light of our chalice, let us rest in this love. No, we cannot be together now during this time of pandemic, but we remember and think about all the joys and concerns you have in your hearts with a poem by Starhawk, until we meet again. Community Means Strength by Starhawk. We're all longing to go home to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned, we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us, eyes will light up as we enter, voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter, a circle of healing, a circle of friends, someplace where we can be free.
Go. Global pandemic.
Economic collapse.
Social injustice.
Climate crisis.
Natural disasters.
Unbridled greed.
Police brutality.
Income inequality.
White supremacy.
Crazy conspiracy theories.
Media manipulation.
Healthcare emergency.
Species die out.
Religious bigotry.
Corrupt politicians.
Food insecurity.
Domestic terrorism.
Unchecked xenophobia.
Voter suppression.
Chronic unemployment.
Undermining of institutions.
Widespread homelessness.
Erosion of democracy.
Isolation and angst.
And there is always one more thing. Global pandemic, economic degradation, economic collapse.
Social injustice. Worker exploitation. Climate crisis.
Natural disasters. Unbridled greed. Substance abuse.
Police brutality. Income inequality. Resurgent anti-intellectualism.
White supremacy. Education imbalances. Crazy conspiracy theories.
Media manipulation. Collapse of civil discourse. Healthcare emergency.
Overconsumption, species die out, religious bigotry.
Corrupt politicians. Food insecurity. Ascending authoritarianism.
Gender inequality. Domestic terrorism. Unchecked xenophobia.
Voter suppression. Chronic unemployment. Biodiversity loss.
Water scarcity. Undermining of institutions. Widespread homelessness.
Erosion of democracy. Isolation and angst. Violence.
And there is always one more thing.
I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. I'm cold. I'm angry. I'm afraid. I'm hurting. I can't breathe.
Social injustice.
I'm hungry.
Worker
I'm
exploitation.
thirsty.
Climate crisis.
I'm
corrupt
cold.
politicians. Food
I'm
Global
insecurity.
pandemic.
Ascending
Environmental
authoritarianism.
degradation.
Natural
Economic
disaster.
collapse.
Unbridled
Natural
greed.
disaster.
can't
Unbridled
breathe.
greed.
Police
Substance
brutality.
abuse.
I'm
Gender
Income
inequality.
inequality.
thirsty.
Resurgent
Terrorism.
anti-intellectualism.
Xenophobia.
Global
Police
pandemic.
brutality.
Environmental
Income inequality.
degradation.
Resurgent
Economic collapse.
intellectualism.
Overconsumption. Species die out. Religious bigotry. Natural disasters.
Justice. Worker
Unbridled
exploitation.
greed.
Climate crisis.
Substance abuse.
Manipulation.
Voter
Corrupt
suppression.
discourse. Healthcare emergency.
Chronic
Widespread
unemployment.
homelessness.
Biodiversity
Environmental
loss.
degradation.
White
Economic
supremacy.
collapse.
Education
Voter
imbalances.
Erosion of
unemployment.
democracy.
Conspiracy
Isolation and
theories.
angst.
Violation.
Violation.
Scarcity.
Global
Mining
pandemic.
institutions.
Environmental degradation.
Widespread homelessness.
breathe.
Corrupt politicians.
I'm
Food insecurity. Ascending
Violence.
authoritarianism. Gender inequality.
Breathe.
Anti-intellectualism. Corrupt
Breathe.
politics.
Collapse of civil discourse.
Listen to the silence. Focus on the silence. Touch the silence. Taste the silence.
Breathe in. Breathe out.
Breathe in. Breathe out.
Breathe in. Breathe out.
Breathe in. Breathe out.
Breathe in.
Breathe
Breathe out.
Out.
Breathe
Breathe in.
Breathe
out.
Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth Nolde, the worship arts team leader and also an artist and certified art instructor. In the performance piece that you watched this morning, it used words of distress, but you also heard words of calmness, of centering, of compassion. They all seem to define the state of our world right now. These words may raise feelings that need to be expressed in some way, whether positive or negative. There are many ways to express them or let them out, so to speak, such as talking to a friend, family member, listening to music, playing music, cooking, working hard at some kind of physical task, and lots more ways to deal with those feelings. Today, we are going to focus on journaling as a means of artistic expression. And this is not just for artists, but for anyone who wishes to follow and express their thoughts and feelings. So, settle back and allow yourselves to be open to this experience. In the art world, there is a concept known as negative space. Negative space is the area around an image or design, the edges, so to speak, the background, the white part of the paper. I'm going to show you a piece of art that will indicate what I mean by that. So, let me get this lined up. It's got a little bit of glare in it because of the screen to the computer, but I think we're okay. So, you may think negative space sounds bad or like it's wasted space. But negative space on a page or composition, or even in writing, is just as important as the subject itself. It helps identify the main focus and direct our attention to important details and gives the viewer's eye a place to rest. So as you look at this photograph, your eye immediately goes to this yellow and green and brown leaf. Then your eye goes to the space around that leaf, the white space. and you realize that this is snow. The white and gray space defines this leaf. Without it, the leaf wouldn't stand out as much as it does. And what does this mean to you, this photograph? When I looked at the photograph, actually when I looked through the camera at what I was taking a picture of, the first word I thought of was persistence. Think about that. Look at this and what would persistent mean in relation to this photograph. Okay, so here's your white space, your negative space, and here's your focus right here. Okay. Too little negative space makes an image seem crowded or crammed or hard to understand. Too much negative space limits the amount of information that the creator can communicate. And you have to find the balance between negative space and your focus. So how does this relate to the pandemic? As we navigate through this pandemic, our lives have been essentially turned inside out and upside down. We have an opportunity to see the negative space in our home lives, in our careers, in our communities. We see negative when we used to see normal as our usual routines and expectations are overcome by the pandemic. We see what we have lost. Looking at the past weeks, it's easy to see the negative spaces with resentment, with longing. I've done that. I have resented not doing the things I like to do. I have longed for those things that I wanted to do, wishing that our lives were more colorful and more color-filled, fuller. Or we can choose to embrace it for its inherent beauty, allowing it to guide our eyes to what should be the focus right now. Negative space is not the absence of what is important. It's an arrow pointing towards it. What is the negative space of the past several weeks helping you to see more clearly? The pandemic forces us to see things differently. In the absence of what was, we have the opportunity to see what could be. Now I'm going to show you a journal I began several years ago, just for you to see how to incorporate drawing, artwork, collage, found objects, photographs, and so on, and negative space into a collection of what is happening in your life right now. So I'm going to show you this example. So it's a spiral bound sketchbook. And I'm going to show you a few pages, if I can get them up here where you can see them well. So I did a lot of writing. I did some sketching. I have photographs that I added to some pages. And I have, these are postcards that I picked up in this particular place in Harrisonburg, which is a postcard, old book, really cool bookstore. And they had these interesting postcards. And so I attached them to that page. Then I have other postcards. These are some that I bought at a museum that I went to that had artwork in it that I liked. You can see here's pictures I took in a thrift shop. And I have writing, I have sketches, I have photographs of my grandparents. There was someone that I was thinking about. So there are lots of ways that you can do a journal. That's just one example. So I did that journal to give me ideas for future artworks or a series of photographs on a particular topic. So I often go back to see what's in these journals. I have half a dozen of them to generate ideas for me regarding photographs. There's no real endpoint to the journals that I did. Exactly, they were just ideas for me. So what I want you to do, I want to help you start creating your own self-compassion journal. where you can express all those thoughts, feelings, ideas that you have right now when life is so difficult. The journal is for you and you only. You can use a basic spiral notebook like this one. It could even be just one that is used, a composition book that you find in a drugstore or at Target. You can use a fancy journal like this one. This is a leather-bound one. It's got lined paper. Or you can just make a journal with some paper. This is printer paper that I folded in half and then stapled the folded edges. It doesn't really matter what format you decide to use. What is important is what you put in it. Okay, so what you'll do is you could do writing that's just free-flowing thoughts. You could make lists of words, which is what I love to do, and then from the list of words, other ideas and thoughts come forward. You could write a poem or a song. You could add a poem or song that you particularly like and put that in your journal. You could add paintings or drawings. You could add objects that you find during the day. For example, you might see a photograph in your house that makes you think of something, and you decide to make a copy of that and put that in your journal. You can collage things. You can use all kinds of papers, newspaper clippings, magazine pictures, any kind of papers of any kind, to express your feelings about the negative spaces in your life right now and how you can fill those up with something meaningful. Now I have an assignment for everybody. We will be continuing Art Amid the Chaos on October 4th in a similar format. So gather up some kind of journal, homemade, store-bought, whatever works. Think about the negative spaces this pandemic has created in your life. No one will see it but you. Remember that. And begin to think about what can be or has come out of those negative spaces that you have. And write about, draw, collect, or collage about them. I will do the same. And on October 4th, I will share what I've entered into my self-compassion journal. And we will talk about it again. Have a great time journaling.
Thank you for joining us this morning for our service. We hope that you found some understanding and wisdom during today's voyage through the various realms of creativity. And we hope you will join us on October 4th, when we will set sail again to explore the theme of art amid chaos. Between now and then, of course, there will be weekly online services that we trust will offer some insight and perhaps consolation in these difficult times. But before we part company, and yes, there is always one more thing, I would like to read, as a benediction, another of the pandemic poems by Alicia Jo Rabbins, writer, musician, and teacher of Torah. We greatly appreciate her so kindly allowing us to use her poetry in our services. The poem is called We Keep Each Other Alive. Now that it's been a few months, the mask feels at home on my face, like a worn key in a front door lock. I make cinnamon rolls without a recipe, and it works like a miracle. We wipe the counters 20 times a day, pour the children endless glasses of milk. Each time we open the refrigerator to grab the jug's thick plastic handle, a brightness inside stands sentry, holding us in its light for a moment. I used to imagine the refrigerator bulb stayed on all the time, like the everlasting light that hangs before the Holy Ark in every synagogue. But now that I am older and have seen how everything can be lost in a moment, I understand two things. One, the refrigerator is dark when closed. And two, in every synagogue, someone changes that light bulb. Some custodian or rabbi or teacher or congregant or volunteer. And though it sounds like the start of a joke, it is the opposite. In the face of all that would extinguish us, we pour milk, we bake, we take turns, wear masks, we keep the light burning, we keep each other alive.
Though days be dark with storms, and burdens weigh my heart, though troubles weigh and heavy turn, I know I can go on. When sorrow heals my soul,